In the year 1980, Omen, the first part, got released in India. I was around 8 years of age, and that's when I started seeing horror movies like Evil Dead and Friday the 13th. In fact, the horror was too much for the 8-year-old me that I used to sleep with the photo of God right next to me. So, after such movies, my parents took me to watch The Omen, and I was absolutely bored because the movie did not have the kind of visuals that Evil Dead or Friday the 13th had. And more than that, there was a Rajinikanth movie that was playing in the theater close by, and I was a very big Rajinikanth fan way back then. Much later, as I grew up and started watching a multitude of cinema and appreciating cinema, I went and rewatched the first Omen, and I realized what a great script it was. A mind-bending, psychological gore fest that questions your inner beliefs and devotions. And what really struck me was the score by Jerry Goldsmith, and of course he went to win the Oscars and the excellent screenplay. So in the movie, there's a small child called Damien who is the Antichrist, who goes on to become a global leader, the Omen franchisee for you. But this movie adds to the franchisee by adding a prequel to the first part. This is the story of how Damien was born. Vanakkam, this is Dr. M, and welcome to the Vocal Experience. Welcome back, this is Dr. M with the Vocal Experience. Margaret Dino, played by Neil Tiger Free, comes from United States to work in the orphanages of Rome. Once she's here, she realizes there is a sinister plan for an Antichrist child to be born by one of the children in the orphanage. Now, does she find who that child is? And does the Antichrist come as baby Damien? Forms the rest of the story. If you look at the first part of Omen, it came around 1976, and there was not much of technology evolved way back then. There was no CG, there was no animatronics and nothing. So they relied a lot on sets and scores, and that's where Jerry Goldsmith's score was so eerie and ominous that won him an Oscar. This movie also has a very similar score. But before I come to the score, I will tell you how genuine the movie is and how genuine the scares are. There are some areas where the movie does slip a bit from the main screenplay. It distracts you, but then it comes back on track. And Neil Tiger Free plays an absolutely brilliant role in this movie. She is the one who has and counters her own fears, her own faith in Christianity. If you look at the 1976 classic, there wasn't much of CG and animatronics around those times. And they relied heavily on the score and the screenplay and the mystery that surrounded this child Damien and all the random people who are killing themselves for him. Everyone claims this is for you, and they drop dead. This movie employs a similar plot, a similar screenplay. In this movie, they've kept the movie really dark, especially during the second half. There are shadows that are moving, there's something creeping, there are hands that are showing and touching. Everything sounds and looks very creepy. And not to talk about Mark Cohen's score to this movie. Just as much as Jerry Goldsmith moved you in the first part, Mark Cohen's eerie score with all the vocals and the choirs that come in really put you in that space. 7.1 Atmos, the mix was just brilliant. Watch the movie, and towards the end, stay back for the rest of the score. Another thing which I would actually like to say is, even though the movie is a prequel, they could have gone into a lot more details and wasted your time. They kept the movie cut at 2 minutes slick, and the movie just flies. Around the first half, they build it so well. The movie does falter a little bit here and there. It wavers off. It all falls in place towards the end. So this is a great movie to be watching on the screen. Don't forget to watch this on the big screen, because the impact that the big screen gives, your OTT will not give. This movie does live up to its name and does belong to the Omen franchise. Well, if you like this kind of content, do like, comment and subscribe. This is Dr. M signing off for the Vocal Experience.